All right. Well, tonight, no Jason joining us. We will have Hamish on from Push to Point, one of the UK players that top 8'd with his Viceroy list. We don't really get too much into like his personal experience, but basically he commented on last week's video when we went pretty hot at the Brits for having kind of a mess of a Nats, but you know, that's just what we saw. And like we always say, we're dickheads. We can kind of be assholes, but also we want to let people know that we're not irrational. We will talk shit immediately about stuff that we see, and that's fine because that's just our personalities. But like, comment. And Hamish, one of the Push to Point guys, was just like, hey man, can I hop on there and kind of pull back the curtain a little bit on the rest of the stuff that we saw? Which is fucking sweet, dude. I love that. Like, Super cool that he felt comfortable reaching out to us and that we connected, and really, really good dude. Really appreciated his input on the rest of his Nats experience. And yeah, it's basically it. Yeah, well, if I can get into it. But yeah, be sure to check that out. We're going to take that on at the end of our little recap here. So do I put a timestamp? Nah, fuck it. You can watch it. You can fast forward if you don't want to listen to just Blake and I talk about our stuff. But you had a pretty dope experience, man. Hit us. What was your Nats experience like?
I mean, I don't know what my deal is with draft, but apparently I need more practice, because if it weren't for draft, it probably would have been an even better experience. But
probably
I went full on NFL punter and just drove the draft like a good 60 yards down the field to try and push myself back as far as possible. So I went 2-4 in draft over the 2 days. Ooh. And ended the whole tournament at 10-6, and finished 60th overall at the U.S. Nationals. So
not bad. So that means what's your total record then on just Bravo CC?
So Bravo and rated events, I'm 13-4 overall between the Vegas calling and U.S. Nationals.
So not to, because I know you would never brag about this. So unlike you. I'm gonna pull up what you're at now. So globally in Classic Constructed, you are ranked 35th in ELO. So that's a little fucking tip of the cap.
Yeah.
How did
it felt pretty cool. I mean,
that's dope. Yeah. Congrats,
good
man.
Old Bravo. Bravo's got me there the whole way. Bravo carried me.
Yeah. He got you there, dude. Now, if only we need to have you do a bunch of deck text or something so that people play Bravo the way that you play Bravo, because I can fucking beat that Bravo. God damn. I talk about punting. I sucked ass, dude, with Prisms last weekend. Unfortunately, I made some changes. The Briar thing had me really freaked out because it felt fucking terrible in testing, and it was I knew it was gonna be a big part, but dude, it was like over a third of the field. Yeah, it was over a third of the field was Briars, and I faced them, and I did not perform. And then so I had 2 losses to Briar, and I had 2 losses to Bravo, which was it's my good matchup. But they're aggro as fuck. So shout out David from Unison Games Cafes, David Unison Games Cafe on Facebook. Super good dude. But he, like, after the match, you know that SpongeBob gif where he's like naked with his hand up against the stone.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I was doing after that match. I was like, dude, I didn't have a chance. He crippling crushed me at least 2 times, I think 3. Pummeled me 2 or 3 times and tear sundered me twice. And it was just fucking a relentless beatdown. he's like, I don't give a fuck what you're trying to do. I'm gonna just hit you a lot. And that was pretty wild because that was not how I was used to playing Bravo. I was ready, dude. I was ready to go long game and just like be really methodical, like I always test into you and Jason. Was not at all what I got confronted with. And then the second Bravo, did the same thing. Wasn't quite as aggressive, but didn't attack a single aura the whole time. And I ended the game with 2 merciful retributions on board, and that was it. So that was just me failing, my deck failing. Like, I wasn't nothing to really be said about that. If I would have been able to build up board, I might have had a shot in that game. But yeah, so I went 2-1 in draft, which felt good actually. I feel like I read the table really well and felt good about how I drafted, and then just lost the mirror around 3. Briar into Briar, and then dude, I was gifted Briar. It was pass number 5 on the first pack, and I got a Flicker Wisp, and I was like, I mean, I worked on reading the table and stuff, but I feel like this is like a coloring book, like read the table picture book edition. Like, are these 5 people for sure not on Briar? God damn. So I grabbed that, and then I got like a pretty dope pool and did well with that. But yeah, as soon as I hit X5, just dropped and went and played other stuff. So that was my experience. Trying to remember Jason X4 day 1. Remember that? Because he played day 2 and went into draft, and I think he ended up 2-1 in draft. And as soon as he had that 5th loss, he basically called it.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly. I'm not sure. So I think you definitely had the best showing of the 3 of us.
I mean, in classic fashion, if for some reason if I flip over my hero and it's Bravo, things go well. If I flip it over and it's literally anybody else, it go okay to poor. That's
We'll definitely get some drafting in. I want to keep like drafting this set's super fun, and I want to do more drafts afterwards. No one wanted to do side events with me. I was like, dude, I just want to draft because it's fun. And then like we get more packs and I've got vouchers and blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, fuck you, I'm tired. I was like, God damn it. Okay. Whatever. I'll just cash them in. But I think the weekend was super fun, dude. Like meeting a ton of people. Yep. We had a bunch of like Patrick came up to us, one of the guys that listens. Trying to remember who else came. Anyone come up to you? You signed to Matt?
I had a game where I got to play Sabres Bolton, and that was scary. He challenged me for a coin, and he flipped over Bolton, and then he challenged me for a coin, and I was like, oh God, I'm giving this coin away for sure, because Bolton is such a bad matchup into Bravo. Like Bravo, that's one of the matchups I just don't want to see, because what he does is inherently problematic for me. And then he flipped over and he was Sabres, and I was like, okay, Bolton can be problematic unless it's Sabres, because with Sabres you have more time to set up and be aggressive and push on them. You just have to see the right things at the right time. So I knew I had to find some solutions to trying to hit him with cards that disrupted him throughout the game. And I happened upon my beloved yellow disable, and I had kind of chipped away. I like played a crippling crush, I think the turn before or 2 turns before, and he gave me his armor because I assume he had Beacon or Lumina in his hand, so he needed to protect it. So I was like, okay, if that's in his hand, I'm hosed. But he gave me his armor and a couple cards, and I was like, okay, he gave me a charge card, so I think I'm okay for another turn. And then I found my yellow disable, so it's just like Bravo, yellow disable. That arsenal's going to the bottom of your deck for sure. And then I pummeled it, I think, if I remember right. So I got the card from. So he was just like, yeah. And at that point, I set him far enough back that it was basically just ball game, because there's really nothing he could do at that point. He kind of got in a weird spot, but it's a good match. I mean, he defended really well and did a good job of kind of dancing around my effects and finding little wiggle rooms and stuff. But yeah, he challenged me for a coin. They asked me to sign his mat, and then the next day he played Jason in draft, and he actually beat Jason. So he got a signature from both of us, but only a coin from Jason. So
nice. And you earned a coin back from someone too, right? Claiming Jason's mistake.
No, No. He played us in the opposite order. So he played me first, and then
gotcha.
yeah.
When we were out
So
drinking
he got
out dining, we were fucking,
Yeah.
that was part of the fun too, man. Like the pub down across the street from the convention center.
It tells you everything you know about the pub that we were there every night for like 4 nights straight or 3 nights straight.
Dude, it was so much fun, dude.
Everyone's just like, the pub.
Yeah, and then the waitress came over, and like the second time we went in, that had us the first night, and she's like, "Oh, you guys aren't sitting in my zone." I'm like, "You can't get all the tips. Like, you can't get all. Like, we gotta spread it around a little bit." So,
especially because they were playing the credit card game. So, if you guys are looking for a game to play with your friends, we won't play it with you. But we have a group of
if your friends are degenerate gamblers.
Yeah. I think the best part about that whole credit card game was night 2 when you just tried to explain the math to Adam, and he gave like one of those excuses that only a degenerate gambler responds with, because he lost the first night and paid almost $300.
Yep, it was like $280, and then he's like, "I got to start making that money back, so I'm gonna keep playing." And I'm like, "Dude, best case scenario, you don't pay 60. Worst case scenario, you pay out another $280 to $300." He's like, "Oh, like," I'm just like, "Dude, that's not good. That's not good math, man." Like, but okay, but all right.
It was probably
just gotta win 5 more times in a row.
The second night was probably better because it was like he was playing and he was like, I'm not losing. He was like doing that thing that gamblers do where they're like, I'm going all in because I can't possibly lose this. And he ordered like the steak, like the fillet, the queen's fillet, and all. Like, he just went all in. He got dessert, he got an appetizer, he got everything because he's like, I'm not losing tonight. And all I could think was, at $300 that you lost last night is going to turn into $350 all of your own accord. Like, you're losing money if you lose this. And then he didn't lose, and he felt like a king, and he was like, I did it. See, I did it. This is the classic gambler thing. It's like he won back less money than he lost, but he won, and that's what mattered.
That's what's going to keep him going. Exactly.
That's what's going to keep him going. So,
but yeah, overall, speaking of our fellow Minnesotans, fucking overall, I feel super good about like just our meta and like getting like affirmation that we're not, like, when we go to locals and it's like difficult or we have a bad night or whatever, it's like, that's because we had how many top 60 forward? We had 6 or 7 top 65 top 64.
5, I think. Yeah.
Well, we're claiming Dagan.
We claimed Dagan,
so it's 6 then, right?
Yeah, I think so. So it was a good weekend. Like,
he plays in Mankato and comes up to our meta. And
he's from Iowa, but he drives up and plays in all our road to nationals and everything. So
chats with the guys locally for what they're playing, and so
he top forward. So
so he was 3rd with that Briar. That he was the Briar that heartbreakingly beat the Ice Lexi. That was the people's champion.
Yeah.
I wanted Ice Lexi to do well, actually. I was like, let's go. Yeah. And then we were sitting there like waiting for the match to start. And I was like, oh, fuck, he's playing the Ice Lexi, which we knew ahead of time, actually, but realized that I couldn't be cheering for both. So had to go with the boy. Had to go with our boy. So
when you have a horse in the race, you always got to cheer for your own. So
right. Yeah, exactly. Super awesome fucking meta call, though, with that Lexi list. Like, that
was some heat.
Yeah. I mean, they're really good players, man. Like, I will never try to take any. I still remember back to like skirmish season, like when we be playing and regularly seeing them like in the Discord after games and stuff like that, talking about winning and chatting them up. And do we ever end up actually challenging them? I think we challenged
the attack action guys.
Yeah, because we challenged them once for just to like see whose overall records are better, and they definitely beat us. You're on some weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the one where I was like, I think I was running Reinar or something, or Jason was like, it was like
running Reinar, and it was early in Jason's Kano, I think. Or I was
it was
Kano. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just we were YOLOing like
super
we did in
fucking good,
season.
Super good players though. So I won't take that away from them. Genius meta call.
Yeah, it's a great meta call.
They were all on a different version of the list, and they said that I I won't take if you haven't seen like their recap or anything like that. I don't want to take too much away from them, but just like from briefly chatting with them afterwards, basically it sounded like their little crew. They had a couple different versions of the Ice Lexi list, but yeah, they were all just on little variations of the deck, seeing what would do better. And Isaac fucking crushed it, man.
Yeah, it was a great medical, really good medical.
Really, really interesting to see like people's different lists too. So like, yeah, just you see some wild stuff when you get that many people together. You totally forget how many ways there are to skin that cat.
Yeah,
like I mean, in pretty much all my matchups except for the like an Earthbriar matchup, I didn't pick his brain really at all, which is too bad because he was a really nice guy. I was just frustrated because I was like, fucking Mount Heroic, dude. But yeah, like just picking people's brains afterwards is probably one of my favorite things to do, just to see like how they came to conclusions on stuff, what they're running their list.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such, if you can get out of your own head a little bit, which I struggled to when I lost as bad as I did. I was like, fucking Prism, son of a bitch. But if you can get out of your own head a little bit and just have a good conversation with people after playing them, it's super entertaining just to see, how they got to their decision points, because you learn a lot. You learn so goddamn much at these things, and it's a blast.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because especially some of the new decks, right? I think some of the things that I took away from the event were Briar is good, but it's because it's good card not deck. Like it's the flesh and blood version of every card game's good card dot deck, where you just go, what are the best cards in the game? How can I ram them all into one deck? So it's just like, what's a good card? Oh, Plunder Run. What's another good card? Oh, Snatch. And you just shove as many of those in the deck as you can. And then you go, oh, Ball Lightning is a pain in the ass. I'll use that card too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, Rosetta goes 2 and 2. So basically just shove all the good things in the deck that you can. And it just kind of pukes out damage and card draw. But then what I found interesting was the people who kind of chose the opposite side of that battle. And they said, how do I beat the deck? Because as a general rule, a lot of these metas where it's like good card dot deck, you kind of get an aggro deck or a really more aggressive strategy that wants to draw a lot of cards and just go wide and kind of puke out the best cards. And I think it's interesting because oftentimes control decks and like that mid-rangey to control style are the decks that live in a world of, how do I find a solution to the best deck and still beat other decks? Because they kind of have that, I don't win any matchups, but I can 60-40 everybody kind of thing.
Right.
So it was interesting to me to see that a lot of Bravo players, or at least a handful that I saw, came to the same conclusion that myself, Jason, Kale, and our buddy the Body came to, which is Shield Titan's Fist was the solution to Briar. It was a way to kind of wiggle your way through that matchup and help mitigate a lot of damage. And then seeing like Oldhim lists was really cool because there hasn't really been an Oldhim list. And then John, a local here, who we got his deck profile coming out tomorrow after you're watching this podcast, I got to talk to John, and it was interesting because John and Michael, the guy who won the calling, John finished top 8, but their lists are so different, like so different in how they played it. And it's interesting to me because like one of the things I talked to with John about when I was doing the deck profile that he pointed out was that he came into the Guardian mindset without a Guardian mindset. So he built Oldhim from fresh eyes without the Guardian mindset. So like he doesn't even have Tectonic in his list. He ran Tunic. And funny enough, he mentioned to me that in the Oldhim chat on the Fab Discord, he was literally being referred to simply as not John, but Tunic Oldhim. People were like, Tunic Oldhim, man, that was spicy. That was so spicy. But when he explains why he came to that conclusion, it's really a good conclusion. It's such a good, like, conceptually, it's brilliant. But it's something that you got to see, like the different variations of decks that you hadn't seen, and they did well, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, because he ended up, so he was top 8 in the calling with that Oldhim list. What did he end up? Did he
7 to 8? He ended in the 5 to 8.
He lost to that Shane player, who then went on to lose to the next Oldhim, which was
losing the finals to the last Oldhim player.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. We also had Dagan, who was the Briar that, heartbreakingly beat out Ice Lexi. Dude, that was such a fucking awesome game to watch. So
Yeah.
like just high intensity the whole way, and like just
oh yeah.
I like for like the last 5 or 6 turns, like I said, mad respect for Isaac, but I'm just sitting there praying, like, dude, just do the Lexi Ranger thing and have a bad draw. Just do the Lexi Ranger thing and just fucking draw your dead hand and give Dagan a chance. And it happened because it's Ranger. It's Ranger.
Ranger gonna Ranger.
Ranger gonna Ranger. But yeah, it was, dude, just a wild weekend all around. And then, not to mention the Bodies Bravo list, which is your
Body
Kale's list. And Nick, young man, that bodacious young man, was bodacious, vivacious. I don't know, something.
I don't know.
The Bodies
I don't know
got
if
me
I've
saying weird words.
I don't know if I've ever heard someone refer to a man as vivacious, but
Vivacious.
I like it.
I think it fits. I think it fits him.
It fits the body. I mean, when someone's just simply referred to as the body,
Mm-hmm. What do you end up standing wise?
He ended up 11-5. He was 18th overall.
18th. With that Bravo. So that's coming out as well. We got that deck.
Yeah, that'll come out early next week.
Be on the lookout for all that. I mean, without much further ado, what everyone's not been waiting for, but that we're going to give you anyways because we think it's worthy, and we're really excited to have Hamish reach out to us, is a chance for him to pull back that curtain on what was the mess of UK Nats and basically just talk us through his experiences and sort of maybe any notions that people might have, internet gunnery, but, kind of try to mitigate that a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else for that, so let's just bounce over to talking with Hamish. I mean, just to address the sort of elephant in the room, I guess, is, dude, all of the flack you guys have been getting, from us included. Like, what?
Oh, man.
Admittedly.
Hold on a sec. It was...
Oh, he's putting on his war paint, dude.
Oh man, I just had my hair cut, man, and fucking, you guys know, right? You got
looks good.
Your hat hair,
Yeah.
You guys, you got to put the hat. You guys got the hats on because the hair just doesn't dig today. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a shame, really. I have to have it this way. I've got my.
Oh yeah, you got your logo. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I know, but I wear it the wrong way. Good marketing. Yeah, no. Your video, man, we got a UK testing group.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys
we raised some hackles. We get some people.
Yeah, who's the other guy that comes on?
Jason.
He brings the gas. He brings. I've watched a couple of your videos, and the guy what the guy does is like, it's dead clever, because he comes in with the gasoline and just throws it up. It all lights up. But I just know, like, as a content creator, I'm like, yeah, this is important. You need someone that's just really controversial, says what's on his mind, and it could be, it's not bothered about what people maybe think or feel in some regard. And then I heard, like, it's like a good cop, bad cop sort of thing, and I saw you guys like go, oh no, it's like, you're weaving it all in. You got the guys who's speaking controversial, you got the guys halfway, and then the guys like say, no, it's actually probably not bad, and it really just tied it all together. And it was just like, oh no, so the other guys, he really did get some flack in our group. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is this guy on about?" And I was like, "Well, you're watching the video, so."
That's perfect. I actually kind of wish you wouldn't have said that, because that's just going to fuel his hate fire. Like, he just that knowing that he revs people up like that revs him up. So that's just going to be something we're going to have to deal with now that he's going to.
Well,
it's
to be honest, it's fine. I think there's I sat back and I thought through, because I thought some of the, like, what sparked me up to jump in was I felt like some of it was like, oh man, I know what he's doing, but it's a bit unfair. There's a lot of stuff in there that was a bit like, oh no. But then I empathized and took a step back and went, right, but in this little window, I mean, I would see that, and I would probably come to the same conclusion and go, this whole event's cooked, right?
So, I mean, to sort of your point earlier, the thing that I appreciated about you reaching out to us and like having a conversation with us is because like I think at this point we're pretty well known for just speaking our minds. Like basically we call what we see, and I do try to play like good cop a little bit with it and just be like, all right, like there's definitely more to it, but like this is what was presented, and like like there were a lot of like errors, and with the whole Matt, right, was the guy who I'm not so like
Matt Folks,
with which is everything that happened. It doesn't look good, so I kind of like Jason went off on his tangent, right, and I tried to wrap it back around and try and make it a little more positive. But the thing that I loved about you reaching out was like we start like that, we sort of start hot just because of who we are as individuals, but I like also having conversations. So the fact that you wanted to still have a conversation with us, it's like, oh dude, okay, this guy gets it. Like we're ragging on what we saw, but we're not like irrational, like fuck everybody else's opinion. Like we still want to talk about it.
I got that straight up. So that's what prompted me to feel like, you know what, I'm gonna throw a comment up and just say, like, if we didn't want it to have that chat, I would be glad to sort of just give something to on the YouTube channel. But I had a funny feeling. I thought these guys would love to sort of know on the other side of things as well, right? Yeah. Because it's to be honest, for good or bad, I honestly think that the UK Nationals is got to be the most entertaining like event that's probably happened. And we got villains, we got heroes, and we got spice. We brought some stuff that was just like, oh man, we got an investigation coming up. I mean, it's not. I don't know whether it is. I'm not trying to paint this up as like as a good or bad thing. It sparked like posts were coming up everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And for everyone watching it, whether you disagreed with the outcome of the investigation, whether you didn't like that the villain won, I don't want to. The guy's actually really nice. I actually really like. I actually spent some time to talk with Matt while we're at the event. Like super really nice guy. But I did say because of the decisions that you've chosen to make, you basically become the villain. No one wants the villain to win because you're, because of the hot take, these decisions that you decided you're going to make. So we've got, villains, drama, heroes, top 8 viscerae, all these, it's just things that all come around that I feel like, you know what, this event, like from the outside, it was wildly entertaining for many people just to sort of just be a part of on that for that weekend. So, I mean, that's just my little outside take on it. But I can bring in a lot of info from within the tournament, which is even better than what was kind of seen from the outside, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said to your point, right? Of the fact that, I mean, people kind of love people to cheer against when everybody's the good guy. They
it's
kind
cool.
of like the opportunity to have a lightning rod. I mean, we have Jason as our lightning rod, but then it's pretty common for all of us to be lightning rods. So 3 lightning rods is a little dangerous and a little much. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that I think too often in those situations, people like get their feelings hurt and then they either lash out or they just kind of curl up in a ball. And they just kind of run away from it and they won't talk about it. They won't, have a conversation and won't go both ways with it. It's like there is some good that came out of it, but also we admit it probably wasn't the best look at times and it did kind of create a weird thing. And, it happens, right? Like that stuff happens. Like we had a situation where the guy who won, instant speeded deep blue at one of the events in Dallas. And it's like that. obviously, like that, those kind of things are problematic. They happen, but you also have to understand that it's a card game. It happens,
These things happen, right?
Yeah.
I think like overall, like I'm curious to find out what, apart from the decision points that Matt Folks made, especially in like round one, and some of the other things. Like, I'm just curious to really feel like, was there anything else really that was quite controversial apart from his stuff? I think, do you know what I mean? In terms of like, he is really well-known figure from the Magic the Gathering community, came in, and he's kind of got a bit of history behind him, and he's at it again. Oh, he's doing it again, and he's won. No. But other than that,
so like,
is there anything else in the UK Nats that everyone was like, oh, this is garbage? And I'm like, really?
I mean, as far as just like play errors at all, because like those just happen. Like you just kind of, if you're watching any stream, like you'd be hard pressed to find a game where like a play error didn't happen at some point, right? So I think that there's a lot of like leeway given for that. Probably not as much online, like people online. Like you're a content creator too, like they can be fucking brutal. So like, you just kind of have to
fucking ruthless,
you have to deal with that. But I will say that the like Matt Folks becoming like a lightning rod and drawing so much attention to it, I think is where a lot of that probably finds its home. A lot of that like online internet angst, right?
Oh yeah.
There's just, and I mean, there's that, and I'm trying to think of like some other stuff that I just had seen around like the Facebook and people posting and commenting and stuff. I think that it's to what Jason said on our podcast last week, which I thought, I still think is funny, but I'm sorry that you guys got victimized a little bit. But talking about how I think it was, New Zealanders had some comments about like, imagining not doing well when the UK Nats were so free. Like, all I have to say about that though is like we got the same, like we still probably will, but like we get the same shit. It's like we had a Dory Axis win a Road to Nationals, and we just got fucking reamed for it, dude.
You got hosed.
I mean, like, what are they playing over there? They all just learned to play 2 weeks ago. So that's the whole shit rolling downhill.
I'm in a group with some of the New Zealanders. There's some really, really, really great players that I've been fortunate to be testing some games with them. And I mean, they were not, it was brilliant because I love banter. I just love I love all that sort of stuff. And me and my friends that I hang out with at the event seriously just don't take it like way too seriously. Basically, we can take a joke, right?
Right.
It was, oh my god, man! Some of the stuff that they were throwing out on the chat with us is just like, oh man, this learn to play event is great. I can't wait for our Nats.
That's fucking awesome.
I was just like, there was some of the stuff that came out. I was just like, damn.
Yeah, I sort of realized
you got to get your bit right, but but at the same time, like I think behind all of that, just the same as everything.
Yeah,
there was some genuinely like really, really, really good players that brought some really good decks, really good like innovative decks, and it just came out that there's like, despite what happened with what Matt Phelps was doing between the rounds, right? No one really saw. No one can see what the games were behind, like, well, that was not on stream, right?
Yeah, you're seeing 2% of, and they got 98% happening behind the curtain.
I will say he's a really, really good player, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
I played against him. All of my friends played against him in the top tables. Like, what was kind of really frustrating over it, and I suppose, and I think I kind of pointed this out to him as well. And I don't want to make this whole UK Nets about him, but unfortunately, he's kind of like a large part of the whole thing. Yeah. He actually plays extremely well. And when we were playing, one of my friends, Sharif Shaban, he was the 3-time Road to National winner in in the road to national season.
Right.
But fair say, yeah, he's considered like one of the top players in the UK. You know, those two are in the semi-finals, right? And all of us as the testing squad are just like, you know, we're there. We're not up next to the table. We're, you know, but we're part of a way to sort of can see it. Matt Fox played brilliantly, and in the end, Sharifa went, I lost to him, and he played so clean and so well. It's almost a shame that these things happened because he can clearly play so well, and it kind of just makes you just think, well, no, this guy's actually got some serious skill, because you can't just rock up to Nats and just do well in CC. You have to be. He's 6-0 draft, right? And that just, we all just telling him, well, the dude's good. The dude's good, right? Yeah, straight up good. He played really well. He's been playing, and he's only been playing for like 4 or 5 months. Not not even that. And he's brought a lot of his card game and skill towards it. So I just wanted to sort of just end my point on the whole thing with Matt Fox of, he made some really dumb choices about you know, with the embodiment token thing, and then immediately calling the opponent out. That was like a seriously bad sportsmanship move. Something that I think, but maybe even he will come and think back to it. I don't support that sort of thing, but he is a generally good player, a generally nice guy. The investigations happened, and I completely think that the investigations outcome of that is completely like fine. You know, overall, I completely support the investigations findings, and kind of just want to leave it at that point. Okay. There is now a whole ream of amazing things about nationals in the UK that is just not been said enough. Do you know what I mean? And that's why, you know, hopefully we can talk about those points.
We will get to that. I promise.
All right, cool.
All right.
No, it's cool.
Yeah,
Blake.
I think. Yeah, so I think personally, I think the thing that probably put him in a rough spot more than anything is, to your point, right? You get some people who like, it's like the presentation. I always tell people, to be fair, I don't know Matt Folks, so I don't know him, but like I know Jason, and I know Jason can rub people the wrong way sometimes with like the podcast. I know I can rub people wrong sometimes on the podcast, and they might meet me and be like, "Oh, you seem like a really nice guy." Yeah, and they'll admit that, you know, my perception of you sometimes on episodes is that I wasn't a huge fan of your takes. They were a little abrasive or aggressive. I pushed too far. And I get that. I understand that. And I think that probably was some of what created a little bit of the firestorm too, was his response to a lot of things was it was very poor. Like,
I agree.
And it was like little things. Like, I think a lot of times like his maybe his posts or his responses and comments were things that you could very quickly look at and go, come on, man. Like that's a really lame, like saying, well, I haven't been playing that long. You're like, right. We all understand that. We get time wise. We also like can just look up your name on the XP board and see that like you're one of the top 10 players in XP in the 90 days. So you immediately lose a little bit. I get that there's some gamesmanship things and some of the culture things in Fab that people don't pick up over those months. Yeah, it was like it was the little things like that I think rubbed people the wrong way. That even if he's a nice guy, probably created a very negative perception, and then it starts to spiral. Like they get a perception about him, then he says something that maybe normally would have been thought of as harmless, and they're immediately more defensive of him, which then makes him more defensive and fight back a little bit harder, and then they perceive it wrong, and it keeps pushing them farther apart, right? It's almost like a political view thing where when you find out you could both have the same opinion about something or have differing opinions, but then for some reason you push farther apart the more you get to know about someone's background or what they think or how they perceive, and it just spirals and gets worse, and it's unfair in the long run, but it's that you have to know in those moments that sometimes the best thing to do is just to stop talking.
Yeah, I agree. I think what happens most of the time with all situations is that you put a mask on, don't you? Or a face. You put a face on in different moments. When he's in the tournament mode, the face he put on for most of it was basically win at all costs. And I think some of the decision points he made kind of emphasized that little point a bit too much. Yeah. And then when he knew that he couldn't, I'm not him. I can't really, speak for him. But I think there was a couple of points that I felt that was very evident that you were the sort of chap that really did want to win at all costs. You came to win.
Yep.
A lot of us came here to try. Some of us came here to get top 24. Some of us were aiming for top 8. He was first place or not happy. That's the sort of mentality the chap had, and that was fine. And when he got out of it and he took that face off, he put on his "I'm here in physical person, not in an event. I'm a totally different person." Okay, that's the face you put on, and that's the side that I got to know a bit more. Mm-hmm. And then when you're on the internet, you put on your internet face, which is, great big goblin mask or something.
Everybody's got a different internet face.
Yeah, everyone just gets it. And then whatever he just, you know what I mean? I feel like maybe I'm probably not always the, I'm not the fire starter most of the time. I love memes. I mean, I was able to, I brought up Shark Boy on my stream because I thought the meme was like gut-wrenchingly funny. Yeah. And just went, and I actually wrote Shark Boy on my fab, like, the little lanyard thing. That's why I'm saying, Shark Boy, man.
That's funny.
Because I just thought the whole thing was just about all that. I don't mind being controversial in that way, but when I don't know, I'm too nice. Sometimes I'm just too nice. I can't beat a guy down, even though he's got so many reasons why.
Yeah, I got that vibe from you. I got that vibe that you tend to you lean towards the nice guy thing, which I try to as well. It's easier when you've got people on the podcast that can be the asshole without needing you to be. But
on my podcast, I'm usually the asshole. So you go.
I never, for what it's worth, watching you, I never thought that you were an asshole. But I guess I'm compared to Jason.
You haven't been on my podcast.
I haven't been on it, no. But no, I will say, just because I don't want to get too wrapped around the Matt Folks thing, just because I do know there's lots of other stuff to talk about. I will just say that I think what hit us the hardest, not to be like melodramatic, but what like struck us the most was people, because we've heard you're not the first person to say that he's like a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that like he did put on that face, and that face was the win at all costs, like be to the point where like I'm going to be unsportsmanlike and be a dick in this moment. Yeah. That is the thing that is sort of the.
Well, he's got a warning for it.
Yeah. No, and I get that. But that is the unforgivable. Like the misplays, like, dude, our calling, like literally our guy who won the calling Nam, like he misplayed as well, doing the instant speed deep blue, but the way that it was handled, like it's not the misplay, like it's, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more surrounding
the response.
Than that. It's I think that he set himself up for failure in dealing with people calling him out by being an asshole.
Okay,
basically. I mean, that's all we were. That's what it is.
And to be honest, people have to wear. He's made his bed, right? Yep. Yeah. And on the internet, he's made his bed, made his choices. He became the UK Nats villain, and that was the cost of the win at all costs mentality, and that's
puts in a weird spot. The only person getting like your own head about what you got to do, and then you find out you look back and you realize that you were that's not fucking like me, but that's what that's the route.
Well, that's what you want.
Yeah.
That he came away from that the winner, but he also came away with a warning, and he also came away with the thing. So that's what you get. But other than that,
but from what it sounds like, he is a good player, and we'll just leave that. We'll leave that at that, and that for the sake of wanting to try to empathize a little bit more, because we're not fucking, we're not irrational.
Empathy's a good thing empathy's a good thing in general,
But I want to move on because I don't want to. I want to hear about your sort of perspective, and just basically give you the opportunity to tell us about the rest of what's happening behind that curtain, what the rest of UK Nats look like, because you guys received a ton of shit. And because that's what was broadcast. What was broadcast was unfortunately what drew the attention. So what was the backside of that? Like what did UK Nats do for you?
Well, the UK Nationals was probably one of the, like, it was by far one of the most best come together things that us as a community in the UK ever experienced ever. The store Living Realms, the broadcasters Tabletop 24 with Alan and Baz, and the judging team. Were all, I know people, the judging team will probably have some, I heard that there's some controversy behind that, but they were generally very, very amazing human beings, all of them, right? The vibe, the welcoming, just everything about it brought everyone into an ease. And seriously, like, again, I'm talking to 98 people that showed up, but I feel so confident to say that all of them had an amazing time. Not really, you may have one or two people that just popped up on the post and not happy about something, but I just, I know deep down that they had a brilliant time there. We were well looked after. The event ran generally, really smooth. In my opinion, it ran just completely great. The judges were not. From what I've heard, I think I heard on one episode here, when you get that one judge that loves power.
Yep.
They want it.
Yeah,
they want that
everywhere.
Yep. None of that. It was none of that. We never had a judge that was power hungry. He wasn't there to try, to flop his judge dick on the table and go, right, that's it, boys, got you. And you're like, no. The guys were just like, we're not here to sort of crash everyone's day. We just want everyone to play fair, and we want you to have a good time. And and the head judge, James, was absolutely superb. He was very, when you get that teacher in school, he was tough, but he was fair, and you liked him, right? He did a good lesson, but you didn't give him crap, and you liked him, and that was James. You had that demeanor where you're like, dude, you're just like, I am not going to mess with what you're saying, and you make me feel comfortable. It's brilliant. This is a great environment to be in, and you knew it was a serious environment. It wasn't just like a free, oh yeah, it's all cool. It was serious, and everyone was there to be serious. But I think at the same time as well, we're also all learning how to be serious at the same time, because it was kind of like, for us as the Fab community, it was our first professional event, so we wanted to be serious, and we're all trying to learn how to also be serious at the same time, because we didn't want this to be some sort of casual level event. We wanted this to all of us, even as players, wanted this to be a professional level event. We also want it to be an enjoyable event at the same time, so we wanted to have strict ruling, but we also didn't want people to be, I don't know. Maybe that's just sort of the vibe I got. We didn't want it to be unenjoyable, but we wanted it to be like, high level. So
yeah,
that and honestly, I felt that that's what we got. We honestly got that event, and at the end of it, it was elation. It was emotional. It really was. All of us were. We haven't got like a 400 player huge thing that happens in America, right? In the UK, 98 people to meet up in an event is not massive, but for us, it's pretty big. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that. For us, this was a really real achievement for us to get that many people together and play and try and play competitively. So at the end of it, it was just it was amazing. It was one of the best days I've had this year, easily. And we're so hyped to have more. We're hungry now. We're hungry for professional level events, and we've got such a good, to us, I think it's a good starting ground to get to that point.
Absolutely. So, as you were talking about, like, it sounds like the event ran really smooth. Like, that you guys had a good time in the judging and everything went well. So that's good to hear, because from what we saw, hearing from you, like, oh yeah, it was kind of all a shit show. That would have been a little bit like, oh man, all these online trolls were right. But it sounds like it actually went really smooth for you.
It did, and some of this, there was some really. Sometimes a lot of people think that the judging was a little bit too wishy-washy, and I was like, no. they were, man. They were hot. They were hot on, there was one or two moments where I think one of the guys was like, just had a dent in sleeve, and like, you got to sort that out. Okay, and you just think,
Mhm.
okay, these guys aren't going, whatever, it's fine. The people were really, really on it. And I think I'll make a point about the judges on the stream table. I
Mhm.
do agree that I think the first couple of rounds didn't have a judge sitting on the table. And I think that was on the fly. They do turn around and went, okay, no, that hands up, we probably should have got a judge on that table, right? But they recognized that. And then they actually had a judge sitting on the table, on the broadcast table throughout the rest of the time, because they did sort of picked up, crikey, we actually did need to do this. I mean, when I did my stream games, I had a judge sitting right beside me, and it was just like watching literally every single bit that happened. So I do recognize that people did make that point of, why didn't the guys put the stream in? Yeah. But we worked it out
Right.
on as we were going.
Yep.
As all of us, were just at the very start. I suppose you got to think everyone was particularly amped up,
Uppity,
also nervous.
Like first big,
First time head judge. Everyone wants to do it right, and you get so focused about doing certain things right that one little thing does get missed. And you probably didn't even think it was a big deal at the time, and it all goes and it all goes kicks off, and it goes shit, and then you feel really, do you know what I mean? The judges really took some of the flack to heart. Even some of the judges were going to die on their sword for this. They were like, we'll quit, we'll stop being a judge because we felt that we failed the community. And we're like, no one failed. The online the internet showed up, and it was harsh. Please don't die on your sword. The fact that you want to die on your sword tells me you are the best person for the job. It's those sort of things. You're the guy we want, the guy that really cares, the guy that wants to do better. He's not going to go on the internet and go, you're all wrong, I'm a very good judge, and I've been doing all this, and here's my credentials. It's like, no, I'm here to do the best I can do. I'm sorry that I've probably felt that I've failed some of you, and it really didn't need to be that dramatic. Do you know what I mean? It was so yeah,
that's fair. So
that's what's kind of happened. But overall, I was, I think that the event was awesome. Maybe I'm so happy because I got top 8. Who knows? But I think maybe if I didn't make top 24, I would have went, this event's trash.
I think one unfair thing too that people don't take into account is the fact that most often the loudest voices probably in the comments live either in the US or New Zealand when it comes to being critical of other people playing. And I think sometimes that's a result of kind of not taking a step back. To your point, you guys this is your first thing. Everyone's kind of taking their first crack at it. You don't have, in America, we take for granted the fact that they've got Channel Fireball running everything.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They don't mess things up because it's Channel Fireball. There's a reason it's television level production on the streams with commentators. And it's insane to look at the difference between what we are provided at an event compared to what other people are provided at their event. And it's purely based on it's a numbers thing. Obviously, we have a massive player base because we're a huge country. So that results in a professional level event run by an organization who does it. And we forget sometimes that other countries aren't afforded that purely based on a size thing. And then in New Zealand, I think they forget it because, even better than us, James White is in the room. So they have a luxury. It's like, hey, James Chung, what's the ruling on this guy who designed this card? So they have luxuries that other people don't. The commentators for their streams and the people judging their events are people who were playing the game before it was produced. Like the game wasn't even out in the public's eye. It hadn't been printed yet. So taking those things get taken for granted sometimes too. And people just go, well, I'm watching. To your point, I think you said it best. Everybody has this view of the entire event, but they're making a judgment on everything outside of it as well.
Exactly.
And it's completely unfair, but it's easy TV and it's easy content. That's obviously, people like us poke fun at it because we see it.
But
hopefully you grasp and everyone grasps the fact that we're level-headed enough to understand that that's not the reality. It's just easy to poke fun at, and we like to poke fun. So of course we're gonna dig at it.
You do realize that when you guys, I sat there and thought, you know what, like, go. I did sit there and go, wow, US Nats is coming up next, boys. Let's wind these fists up. Let's see what happens. And then it turned out you guys were like, oh shit, they're playing real clean. Man.
But that's, I mean, not because, but we also did have to go the 6 to 12 months of just getting shit on relentlessly from New Zealand.
Hey, dude, you guys are the big one. It's easy because there's so many of you. We get flack from the New Zealand dudes. Absolutely, man. We get a ton of flack from the New Zealand guys, but we're not America. So it's like, oh yeah, you guys are shit, but you wait, you see the Americans, we're like, yeah, I know. It's good fun. It is good fun. It is good fun to have a bit of banter.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yep. I will say that I think that after talking to you, so this is me. Yeah. This is where I differ in personality from Blake and Jason. Like, after talking to you, I'm like, yeah, man, I should have been more supportive of them, like, from the get-go.
Nah, you're cool. You're cool.
Because, like, I get it. Like, I didn't realize, like, how small the support for the event was. Like, I mean, you kind of got that vibe from the stream and, like, all that. Like,
the stream was one guy and all of his kit. Right. That's Tabletop 24. That's Alan. He brought all of that stuff. Living Realms said we don't really have we don't have the capacity to do the streaming stuff. We're here to sort of promote and host, but we're all going, we really got to stream this, right? And Alan just went, I can do it. I did the Road to Nationals in Manuscrew in my hometown, and he went, I can do it. And he went, and everyone, okay, cool. And we're kind of not sure because it's the subscribers is not huge. It's not Channel 4. I mean, it's not a huge thing. And the dude just brought up and all of the rigging, all the lights, everything, microphones, the health trackers, just the everything was, he brought it all. And if it wasn't for him alone, none of you would have even seen any of this awesome stuff, like mad drama.
Everyone would have been all the happier for it. So.
Probably, but I wouldn't have been here. So I like to think
it's true.
We wouldn't be here. But that's probably, like you were saying. We all mucked in. We all mucked in to try and bring this amazing event. Like, Living Realms brought just did all they could to set up to give us the amazing event. The judging team did all of their, all their training, all the stuff that they needed to do to give us the best experience they can. And then Tabletop 24 showed up and just spent a lot of money and a lot of time to make sure that we're broadcasting this to everywhere. And yeah, it was just a really community focused event that certainly felt like, at the end of it, I was so proud to be a part of that. I was really happy to be honored to even have this chat with the guys and have this opportunity to even talk. The whole thing was just so great. And to be honest, the flat that came by was, it's part and parcel of the internet. So
it really is.
It's fine.
Just gotta kind of take it. What we talked about in the podcast last.
I want more, but I want more fire. All right, it wasn't enough fire. I felt like you guys went soft, right? You need. Come on, man, step it up, man. I want to see some more flame. I can't wait for New Zealand Nats. I can't wait. And imagine if they screwed up some plays. Oh my God, we'll be sitting there going like. Whoa, here we go.
I mean, just the level of play, though. I mean, come on, Matt. I mean, Matt Rogers just came over and swept our callings and just totally crushed everyone because he's,
he didn't win.
Good. No, he didn't.
Exactly.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah,
no, he did do really well, but yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So it's funny because when Matt came over here, we kind of there was that side of us where we're like, we like Matt, we know Matt. I want Matt to do well because I like Matt the person, but I don't want Matt to do well
No.
Because I need him to do well, but not well enough to win. He can't win anything. Like we couldn't, with our pride, we couldn't let him win anything.
No.
Because we couldn't hear about that from New Zealanders forever.
Yep.
No,
like
yeah.
we would never live down that Matt Rogers came over here and immediately won. So the fact that he didn't win anything and it was all like US players who won everything, you're like, okay, this works for me. This is good.
No, that's it. I totally agree. Matt Rogers has become like the celebrity of this whole thing. He's the poster boy of Fab at this point. You know, everyone has heard of him. Everyone wants to know what list he's bringing, and I was things for the calling that happened over the weekend was that in Orlando. Yeah. I was rooting him for this one time, only because he was playing Viserai. But then there was a little bit of me that makes me go, I hope you don't make top 8 because I want to be the only top 8. And then he gets semi-final. I'm like, shit. Well, I better milk this Viserai deck his best before Matt Rogers shows up with this video and goes, "Excuse me, petty UK guy, go play with Matt Fox. Here is my list.
Here's my Viserai.
I'm like, here's my Viserai." It's actually really good. But I was dead chuffed to see that there seems to be 2 players that came out of your neck of the woods that's it's now becoming names across everywhere is Tarek and Michael Fang.
Yep, Michael Fang. Yeah.
I think Tyler, he confused everyone because his name was not Michael on the thing. So we're like, who the fuck is Michael? this guy gets talked about all the time, and he's like, here's Michael now. I'm like, it's not Michael. I don't even know. I can't remember his first name. I was like, this guy's not Michael. Who the hell's Michael? Yeah. So those two became some what we even like. All right, Tarek. Yeah, Tarek. Tarek is now the really good player of the US.
Yeah, there's been, so just looking at like the results too, there's lots of stuff, and we're actually going to hit this in our podcast, but I think we're going to plug this at the end of ours. So if you're hearing this, you'll know that we already talked about it. But I think like Tyler Horspool is probably one of those names that's got to be considered now too.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he was the Prism winner.
Winner at Vegas, brings a totally different deck, top 8s at the National. So it's just, I think it's hard to argue that he's not an amazing player as well. It's like just running with whatever he wants, not necessarily his deck.
I suppose really you guys have had like so many big events. Like for us, we're like, oh, here's our Nats, done. And then here's the other Nats, and you've got like, oh, I have 4. Like, oh man, I can't keep up.
You guys, it'll pick up. It'll pick up, and we'll like. I'm excited for next year because just the number of events that they're advertising or that they post is going to be coming out. Like we're going to have so much competitive stuff to talk about. Like it's gonna be heaven, man. I'm super excited.
Absolutely. We got Utrecht coming up. This is when the Europeans collide.
What's going on with Bidgosh? Is that
Bitgosh? What's that?
I don't know. Someone.
I'm over. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, I think it's Poland.
I thought it sounds like that sounds like a cryptocurrency.
That's a guy in our chat was like, "Is this an online code for something?" It's like, no.
So the Utrecht calling is going to be good. Unfortunately, I'm not going because I've just come back from Nats and I've got a family. I can't abandon them for longer days. We've also Simon, who came top 4, who was in our podcast, and Sharif are also unfortunately not going. So I don't know if Matt Fox is going, but I'm more interested to see. Like, I'm actually more hyped as to try. I want to see UK. I don't really care who even wins it. I just want someone in the UK to get top 8. So because if none of the UK guys get top 8, it'll be like, guess you're the worst country in Europe. And you're like, oh, no, I don't want that. And that's the exciting thing about Europe is that because, with America, you're just one big country. But with us, we're just like, Europe, it's just so many different ones. So the rivalries are like, you don't want the French to win, man. Not the French. But I mean, as a Brit,
Right.
I can get away with that. But the three countries to look out for the calling Utrecht is Germany, Poland, and the UK. I honestly think that those are the three countries that are taking this game up. You can even see it in the size of the national events that come on.
Mm-hmm.
That those are the three countries that have got a sizable player base, and some pretty good players are in those countries as well. So it's a shame really that 3 of the top 8 people in the UK aren't meeting up, because I'd love to just as many of the top players just rock up to the call in and go, right, Poland, Germany, going down.
Let's do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Wear your national jerseys or something. Throw on some.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. In the UK, if you the patriotism's is a pretty weird thing over the UK. Yeah, if you walk around with an England flag on, yeah, it's
better be going to a soccer game or what?
No, I don't know. The only time you can wear, I was talking to my friend about this. I don't want to sideline this way too much, right? But when people hang England flags outside their house. Right, and maybe this is me, and I'm probably going to get a load of flack for this. It's pretty, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's usually the bald, shaved guy, pretty racist, all that sort of.
It's the
all
same
that
shit
sort
here.
of shit,
It's the same shit here.
Fair enough,
same thing here.
Okay, but the only time, but the thing is, we don't really get that, especially because our country's so small and we're so compact, But anyway, the only time you can get away with it, it's like a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
When the World Cup is on, or the Euros for football is on, you are allowed to put your England flag out without racist judgment put over you, right? Okay. This is a bit of a joke, right? But when the World Cup is over, if that flag is still up there, this isn't looking good. It's getting worse. You've got 14 days. Get that flag down, otherwise everyone's going to think you're a racist.
That's fucking great.
And this is probably why if we all walked up in England flags, I'll be like, probably not. I'll put a Union Jack one. I could get away with that. A British one, you can get away with that. But an England one, it's kind of weird because it's got Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland all crammed into one place. Gotcha. To have an England one, it's like, England, we're kind of British, mate. Kind of all of us. Just put the British flag on. There you go. There's a bit of. I might be wrong. No, Sorry, everyone, if you're from England. I'm completely not talking for everyone. I'm just stirring a pot here, probably at some point. This is why I get in trouble with the push to point.
That's all we do, man. We just we do is just talk about
it's perfect
random shit and we're speaking for everybody. Fuck this, like.
Oh, no, brilliant. This is the only time I'm allowed off the leash and just run wild and say stupid shit.
Dude, you ever want to just get off the leash and fucking go nuts, just hit us up, because we'd love to have you back on, for sure. It's been a blast. And honestly,
thank you so much.
Genuinely appreciate the opportunity to talk about your experience with it. And I feel bad because we didn't even do justice to the fact that you did top 8 and we didn't even hear about anything personal, so I would love to have you back on and we can just shoot the shit about your deck. And I know that you'll do stuff for your channel too, but
dude, honestly, just having this chat and having this opportunity to chat with you, with the pair of you, it would have been cool if I was able to have the chance to chat with all 3 of you. But I really would love your content. It is brilliant. And I will just add one little plug. I'm part of the Push the Point team.
We were going to get there. We weren't going to let you
cool.
hang out to dry.
Yeah. I thought you're getting to that point. We're ending now. I was like, no, sorry, dude.
No, go. All right, go ahead though. Hamish, go ahead and push your point.
I'll push this point. All right, yeah. UK podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google. We're on YouTube as well. We've done a deck tech for Viserai and Briar that made the top 8, and you can get that on YouTube. Push the point. There you go. That's my plug.
That's good shit.
This. Yeah, thank you.
We'll make sure it's linked in the description too. So we'll get you guys a link in the description for sure.
Blake does that. Blake does the links. So if we've missed links in the past, it's been because of Blake.
Yep.
Just heads up.
Always
are you link man?
I'm the link man. Yeah. I take care of all the.
Okay.
I just copy the info and move it over, and then sometimes it's like we're gonna have a link in the thing, and I didn't put a note down.
Yeah.
To remember to do it. Just forget it completely. And then Dane's like, "Did we ever put a link?" And I'm like,
That's my fault. Yeah. Who's edit man?
I edit. Yep.
I thought you were edit man.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
You were edit man. I love it.
I've gone on a couple tears recently into Jason where I've been editing just to make him look like a fucking moron, and it's been fun. So.
and then it's Jason. What's his little thing in there?
He's the asshole.
So everyone's he's the asshole. Okay,
yeah, he handled. Yeah. I do the graphic stuff.
Yeah,
he does all the video editing, and then Jason handles the lightning rodding. So he makes sure that we get all the thumbs up and thumbs downs. So.
That's a solid team, man.
Fun fact: I do most of the responding to the lightning rodding that Jason receives. So
I could tell.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Well, Hamish, man, seriously appreciate you reaching out. Enjoy the conversation. Thank you for pulling back the veil a little bit on what actually happened over there, and honestly looking forward to what UK and Britain. I don't know. I'll be honest, that all kind of still is like. Is that how that works?
When you said so the United Kingdom is England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Okay. We also call it Britain. So there's two words that mean the same thing. It's kind of like the States or USA or America. They're all the same word. Okay. If someone said the States, it means America. So Britain and UK are the same word. Okay. But I do like the fact that people go, yeah, there's Scotland, Wales, Britain, and Ireland. Like, it's Britain. It's you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like saying, I like the States. There's Arizona and and America. You're like, oh, okay, fair enough. There's loads.
That's fucking
really got it all wrong, but that's fine.
All right, ignorant Americans aside, dude,
I love it.
Congrats on your personal performance and Godspeed going forward, man. Hope you guys do show up to Utrecht and crush, man.
I'll see you guys at Worlds.
Fuck absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Take it easy, Hamish.
Cheers, man.